The Eagle known as Kadyn Proctor has landed in Iowa City, and now the Hawkeyes are on the verge of hiring a new offensive coordinator. Whoever is going to be leading this black and gold offense in 2024 has to focus in on developing that homegrown beef up front.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
Recruiting doesn't end on signing day. Sometimes it's just beginning. And Kadyn Proctor's journey over the last year and change is another example of that throughout the world of college football. Sometimes being second place is just the second winner. Sometimes when you don't win a recruiting battle out of high school and things don't work out at that player's first destination, you're there to keep tabs on a kid. You're there to say, hey, how's it going? Just checking in. And then when they eventually enter the transfer portal, you're there to swoop in. Not only were you in that battle out of high school, but keeping tabs on players like Iowa was able to do with Kadyn Proctor is a strategy that some coaches are taking in today's day and age of college football. There is more recruiting going on in college football now than there has ever been. Before, high school recruiting, and if that first week in February they didn't sign with you, you moved on from that particular kid. Not anymore. Now you recruit a kid for a couple of years out of high school, and then if you really believe in that kid that they could flip and they could enter the portal later, you keep on recruiting him. Kadyn Proctor and Iowa is an example of that type of situation, and this is not one thing that has happened in a vacuum. This is something that is happening throughout all of college football. And man, these coaches continue to work more hours and later hours, it seems, as time goes by. Iowa's offense, it's been the butt of every joke dating back to 2022, and that butt of the joke really continued in 2023. Not a lot of improvement on the offensive side of the ball for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and there can be multiple reasons cited why there was no improvement. One thing that really stands out to me, of course, is injuries, right? When Cade McNamara goes down in the first couple of games for this season-ending injury, and then you look at your top two passing targets, those two tight ends, Eric All and Luke Lachey as well. When you were playing shorthanded, right, when you were penalty killing, you had a 5-on-3 type of situations, to put it into hockey terms. It was going to be tough to really improve of any kind on the offensive side of the football. But when you really look into it a little bit, you had some homegrown beef on that offensive line from the state of Iowa that has been playing a lot. It's been a young group over these past couple of seasons. And their development, I think, is key with a new offensive coordinator really coming into the Hawkeyes. And then you throw in another Iowa product in Kadyn Proctor. Their development, Kadyn Proctor, Logan Jones, and Connor Colby, I believe is going to be key. It was key last year in 2023. This Iowa offensive line gave up 33 sacks, the third most amount of sacks in the Big Ten Conference last season. If they want to be successful this season, it's the same key as last year. I said it before the season started. Iowa's success or their failure is going to be dependent on how this offensive line plays. At some points it was decent, at some points it wasn't. But those kids need to develop, they need to step up, and they need to be once again a great Iowa Hawkeyes offensive line as a unit. When you look at Proctor, Jones, and Colby, those three Iowa products, and then you add in Mason Richmond, this is a group on an offensive line that has a lot of talent. And then when you kind of take Proctor out of the equation, I know he played a lot in the SEC at Alabama this year, but when you really take a look at Richmond, when you look at Colby, and when you look at Jones, they were young, they were learning, they were developing, but these are guys that have started and played almost every single game the last two seasons. This is going to be an experienced group up front that's seen a lot of football. Not just those three guys have faced Big Ten defenses. But then you got a guy in Kadyn Proctor that, although he struggled at first, you're putting in a true freshman against SEC defensive lines and SEC pass rushers. I'm not sure if he's going to hit the ground running and pass every test with flying colors right out of the gate. But he was able to improve as this season has gone on. All of these guys returning up front have seen a lot of defensive lines. They've seen a lot of looks. They've seen a lot of pass rushers. Whoever this new offensive coordinator is going to be, their ability to develop and create cohesion and consistency on the offensive line is going to be key. Why is the offensive line going to be emphasized so much? Because Iowa, that's how they've played over the course of Kirk Ferentz's run as head coach since 1999. This has been a program, this has been a team that has been built from the inside out. They want to be great within the trenches. And then you look at the personnel that comes back for this 2024 season. That's another reason why this offensive line and their performance really hinges on the success or the failures of Iowa in 2024. And I specifically look at the quarterback position. Cade McNamara, his best season as a signal caller came in 2021 when he had the best offensive line in college football and he had a fantastic defense to lean on as well. Iowa's got the box checked on the defensive side of the football. We know what the Hawkeyes are on that side of the ball. Phil Parker's doing just fine. Once the pressure starts to break down, I think that's where Cade's game and his abilities maybe start to drop just a little bit. Going back to that 2021 season, you had Cade that was able to lean on a great defense so he didn't have to go out there and create so many scoring drives and create so many opportunities for the offense. But Cade was also able to lean on a fantastic run game as well. And I believe when you look at Iowa for 2024, they've got two backs in their backfield that got a little pop in their step. I love Caleb Johnson, right? Even going back to last season and then this past season as well, he's been able to have some good runs and he's been able to be productive as well. And I really love Jazz Patterson, right? When you take a look at having a pop in his step, how about having a little jazz in his step? I believe he has that burst. I believe he has that power. You put those guys together, and that's why the development of the offensive line is so key. If this O-line can establish a run game and establish that's who they are, that they want to run it down your throat and they want to be that Michigan type of football team that establishes the line of scrimmage. With all of these West Coast teams coming in, there might be a little bit of a migration towards more open offenses, passing, scoring, explosive plays, that type of thing. But the great thing about the Big Ten starting in 2024 is that these styles are going to make fights. There's going to be certain ways that certain teams are going to play. And when you look at Iowa, they are made to be, they are made in that Michigan type of mold where being great up front at the offensive line is the roots of where everything is, and then all of the branches kind of grow out from there. If this offensive line can create a push, if they can road grade on a consistent basis, that run game gets going. And then when teams load up against the box, that's when Cade can play action and get going to his tight ends down the field. The new offensive coordinator, whoever that may be, has got to know that this is going to be the key to success for the Iowa Hawkeyes in 2024. You've got to develop and get the most out of that offensive line. Old school Iowa Hawkeyes football, I believe, can give Iowa some success in 2024.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.